Morning. Hi there, it's noisy right here because I'm up above the Bow Falls. So those of you who have followed me on virtual tours might remember that way back years ago, it's about from this vantage point that I did my first ever virtual tour. But I brought my gimbal because it's such a nice morning. So I went out for a bike ride this morning. This is my first day off, and I say it that way because it's a computer day for me. I have a bunch of things I need to prepare for, including some lectures next week. But I'm going to be home at the computer, so I went out on my road bike. So I've just changed the saddle. It's not been that comfy, so I'm still doing some micro adjustments. So I went out for about an hour, came back, and I thought, well, I'll go to the gym because I got the heart rate up. So I went over to my gym at the Banff Center, which is right over the hill, and it doesn't open till 11. It's about 9:30 in the morning here because it's a holiday day. So I thought, well, it's so nice that I thought I'd come outside and just share. Now, I'm trying this on YouTube. It worked yesterday. Hey, bonjour, hello. It isn't always sunny over here. We've had a lot of rain this summer. We're thrilled about it, but look behind me. So I'm at Surprise Corner here, and there, of course, is the world famous, literally world famous, Banff Springs Hotel. And then down below me are the Bow Falls. So there's lots to talk about up here. And then also behind me is my big bike, which is really, really in desperate need of a tune-up. But that's how I get around town. And anyone who's visiting town, in fact, I was on the phone today. I have a lovely family next weekend from Texas on tour. But they're bringing their mom, who's well into her 90s, so quite limited for walking. Hey, Tessa. Quite limited for walking. So I was saying it's so busy that really we're just going to have to plan about, what we do. But let's have a little peek behind us here. There we go. There's the mighty hotel, 850 rooms, finished in 1888, and then the tower was about 1906, and then a fire in 1926. So the original wing was a Rattenbury style. Rattenbury was the architect who also did the Parliament building in Victoria. Now down below, of course, are the Bow Falls. They're not particularly high, but they carry on for a long distance. And that's rather significant because when the trains arrived here in 1883, the trains had followed the river, but they simply couldn't, the train simply couldn't follow all the way up here, needless to say. And so A.B. Rogers, who was in charge of the surveying process, said they might have to, they should tunnel through the mountain that's up behind me. Can't really see it, but you can get a little arch of it up in the distance. Now, the gentleman in charge of building the hotel, the trains in this area, then the hotel, was William Cornelius Van Horn. So he blows a gasket, said there's no way I'm waiting a year for a tunnel, find another way. So that's why this grand famous hotel is here and the town is down the other side. That's the logic. And I know I've told that story before, but it matters. This hotel right now is running 99.1% full, which is essentially full because they always keep a couple of rooms in case, someone has a problem in their room, a flood or something. And right now to stay there, it would be about $2,000 US a month. So how's that? The gondola is up in the distance, up Sulphur Mountain. And you can see it going up to the very top. In fact, I can show you the building up top. So I hike up there. I've done several live tours up there. And then from one point to Samson Peak, the other point, that's an old cosmic ray station, which is a fancy way of saying a weather station. So that's that mountain, but it's Sulphur Mountain because of the distinct smell of sulfur. And that smell of sulfur is because of this huge mountain up here, Mount Rundle. When the snow melts off that, it goes so deep into the earth that it's heated up by the mantle and comes back up as a series of natural hot springs along this mountain. So down around the bend is the Cave-in Basin, which is really the genesis of the national park. 3 workers found hot springs, and of course they didn't really find them because First Nations, Indigenous people have lived here for 14,000 years, and this was a hunting corridor, and they knew they had hot water all winter. Hey, total change of subject, but I've just noticed over here, see these yummy berries? Those, ladies and gentlemen, are Saskatoon berries. And Saskatoon berries are delicious. Saskatoon berry syrup is delicious. So they're not the buffalo berries that you see that the bear, although the bears would eat these absolutely as well. I don't touch the berries in the park either, for all the obvious reasons. It's what the animals eat. And this time of year, the bears are trying to put on as much weight as they can. They've already had their loving time. So they already had their mating time, and now they're just eating in preparation of winter, which is never that far away. Do you know, though, I'm so typical. We're in August now, and I'm already looking forward to the snow being back. I just want to talk, before I hop on the bike and ride down the hill, I just want to talk about this tree over here. So there's a huge variety, I mean, it's coniferous forest, right? Over 90% pine trees. But you'll see how the roots here integrate with the limestone so well. And this is why even when trees die, you don't cut them down. Because it's so integrated, that's how the soil all works. So you have the lichen that turns into this basic crypto-organic soil, little plants take hold, and before you know it, trees can grow out of it. Now you look at this old one, that's a Douglas fir. These are all Douglas firs up on the hill here, which are, they can live, well, they say 400 years, although I swear there's one that's older up on the side of Stony Lookout. But that one there is all beaten up at the bottom. That's the pileated woodpeckers that'll dig in there, and that will then create an entrance point for bugs, and other birds will live off them there too. And look at this fellow kind of leaning over here. So that's it's a lodgepole, a big one. And then you have the limber pine, and the white bark pines are higher elevation ones that we're really trying to protect. They've got a fungus now that actually came from outside the country. It's a shame. And there's that shadowy creature who often follows me around. I don't know why, but we seem to be old friends. There's actually tons down here. There's so many old trees that are just integrated into the rock here. Up in the distance is the Rimrock Hotel. And that's that hotel is actually closing down in October for about 8 months of renovations. So it's already a beautiful hotel. It'll be interesting to see what happens with it. As I look further down the valley here, when you get to the end of when you get to the end of Sulphur Mountain, then you're looking at the Goat Mountain, and that's in Kananaskis country down there. That's where the G7 was just hosted. But Kananaskis, very important, very beautiful area. I mean, not that this isn't, but they're the real distinct front ranges. So I really enjoy K Country, as we call it. Also, one other peak just to show in the distance, you have a peak way out there, Pilot Mountain. They started flying airplanes in here in 1911, and that was actually used for flight. Of course, the old planes, just pure by sight, no radar. And then up there, you'll see the ski runs on Mount Norquay, which is always a fun place to have a visit any time of year. I was hiking on Stony Lookout with a couple of clients who were staying at the Banff Springs the other day. So that was a fun thing to do. So there's the nice view up here. So what I thought I might do is get on the bike and ride down to Banff Avenue. We'll see if we hold our reception. So is everyone just hearing everything just fine at the moment? So it's nice to have people here. But I thought I'd ride down. I'll be holding the gimbal in one hand, but I'll go down this road, which becomes Buffalo Street. We go past the old cemetery. Hey, salut. It is, yeah, oh, great. So we'll see if it holds or not. It always seems to be a bit of fun, but it's just, I prefer doing these on YouTube because I have the Zoom and because Facebook erases them after 30 days. That said, when the reception goes down. But you know what? I was at Lake Louise yesterday. So I was up at the Columbia Ice Fields, as you know. We went very early. I had a great time with these two ladies from Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri. Did 3 days of travel with them. They're just such nice people. And we went up, we left early, and we were able to see everything. And then on the way down, there was just virtually no parking. I mean, that's what happens. So we're busy. I mean, record-breaking busy. But let's do a little cruise on the bike. So what I do is I get it going there, you see? And then I've done 4,337 kilometers on this bike. That's pretty good, eh? And it's desperate for I'm just going to put the seat down. That's what I have this button that allows me to lower the seat because the seat weighs so much. But I do really need to do like a big amount of work on my gears and everything, but I'm not going to because I think it'll probably take a week. And so I want to have the bike accessible all through August because in early September, I'll be going up to the Arctic for 2 weeks. So it's a great time to put the bike into the shop. Now, car's coming up, but I will just get across the road here for a second, everyone. There we go. So Wolf's Tail is the lighter plant down along the edge, and look at all the flowers still. We are just having a spectacular flower year. Now, we did have 2 thunderstorms in a row, which was really great fun. And that, though, made things wet enough that I have seen more mushrooms this year than I ever remember. Now, you know why everyone likes to hang out with the mushroom? Because he's a fun guy. But actually, I never ever touch them. I personally am actually allergic to mushrooms, at least some of them. But you'd be so careful, of course, between safe ones and poisonous ones. There's a few of the brown-eyed Susans still around, which are the lovely kind of large daisies. And then up at the higher elevation, the paintbrush is fantastic. So this is Buffalo Street. There's actually a house for sale on this street. It'll take well over a year to sell. Now, if anyone would like to lend me about $3 million, then I could pick that house up, and I would let you stay, of course, anytime you want. So that's just if you're just planning ahead. But as I get along here, we come up to a bend, and it's the Banff Cemetery. Now, this one is pretty much full. If you don't have a family plot here, you can't get in, even if you're dying to get in. But it is a really neat cemetery. Who's who, and of course, Banff has played such a huge role in Canadian and North American history. And it's obviously how Canada survived as a country. It's how the sun never set on the British Empire. So interestingly enough, it is well worth doing it. In fact, let me show you. Oh, this is the transformer station. This is different. But that's 1901. Coal oil for Banff's kerosene lamps was in short supply. So this is when they brought hydro power, and that led to the damming of Lake Minnewanka. So that's interesting, that formation, and that goes back to the establishment of Two Jack Lake and all those sort of things. So there is a power station. It was dammed twice. Probably wouldn't dam anymore in the park. And interestingly, there's a house coming up on the corner here, and I often drive people past it. I don't often, I almost always do, because they've got a beautiful Inukchuk out in the garden there. The Inukchuk, of course, the stone person, Inuit term. And it's a welcoming sign. It was the symbol for the Vancouver Olympics, so that was a really neat thing as well. And it also tells you where there's a safe bay or a safe area for passage. And a safe bay is where you would be able to park another Inuit word you know, your kayak. Isn't that interesting? So you do know a term. So this house is for sale. I'm just amazed because these along Buffalo Street are really passed down in families. I just crossed Beaver Street. Over on the left is the house of the superintendent of the national park. But you know what? Before it's too busy, let's head down Banff Avenue, shall we? I think we shall. Let's see what's happening with the traffic. Yeah, it's not too bad. Sneak down here. Now this is a quiet morning, but look at that view. So there's a view you see in every postcard. Now I will really be sitting at the computer for a couple of solid hours today. I am finalizing all the details for a trip to Peru. Oh, there's Lululemon and Arc'teryx over on your left. That was the Hudson's Bay Company. But I'm finalizing all of those details, and of course we have a trip to Nepal, and that's going to be finalized in the next few days as well. And so heads up, because I know several people on here are planning on coming to Nepal, so that will be in November. Just thought I would cut down here. These people are all out for breakfast at Talulu's. It's sort of a Louisiana style food, and it's really popular for breakfast. And I've eaten it there once in a while. I'm back to having my juicing my greens and to sneak by it there, guys. Thanks. Little people across the street. That was Bear Street I cut across, but I just wanted to come and show you the river this morning, everyone. And just because it's going to be so beautiful, as long as we're not too busy, you know, driving up these streets. Yesterday when I came in back, it was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. What we just did on the bike in whatever 4 minutes took me 25 minutes in the car. That's how busy it's getting in the afternoons. So I'm back sort of behind the White Museum here. But why it's so nice to come down here is this is the time of the year that the river is particularly turquoisey and calm as can be. So there's a lot of beautiful rivers on earth, but what do you think of ours? And there's people down at the Canoe Club. And then up in the distance, the ski hill and then Brewster Peak. And you do get your last, I don't know if there's any left now, but the last remnants of the wild roses seem to last a little longer along the edge of the river here. And it's at the Canoe Club. That's where we do the cold plunging in the winter. So I'm just gonna get past these folks. Sorry, folks. They must be from, they must be from a place where they drive on the other side of the road because, drive on the right, walk on the right. Seems like a reasonable thing. Actually, to that, we do get, tragically, quite a few accidents. These are all bushes where you would see wild roses, but they've all faded away. Hello. Yeah, I think, oh no, there's a few in there. Yep, a few of the pink wild roses still around. That's what I see. Ooh, and always fun to see. There's poop. That will be a wild animal. I don't know. Probably, could be a coyote. But there's people out there. Yeah, the bear scat is a very, very obvious thing. All right, so we're just gonna wind around here, but Canoe Club is already busy. They always hire such nice staff there. I always like the people who work there in the summer. Here is our hospital, and we do have among the best research in the world for ACL reconstruction. And as I was saying earlier in a little presentation, I'm getting ready for the snow to come back. And so, when you have a world that's all about skiing, then you have a lot of people that need knees. Do you know I'm starting to get a little crunch in my left knee? No pain whatsoever. And I'm friends with a lot of the sports med doctors, and they say, no, the crunch is just something that happens, but don't worry about it too much. And then, of course, we have a plethora of liquor stores. When I say we're a small drinking town with a train problem. But here is Bear Street. Now, this is where we have all the snow carvings in the winter. By the way, so, I always try and recommend food according to people's interests. So we just passed Banff Poutine, if you like the poutine, the French-Canadian Montreal food. Nourish over here is really very good. That's a lot of vegetarian, vegan food. Tavern up here is interesting. They do pizza, but they give you honey with it. And also, of course, baking is harder here at altitude. Ooh, that tree had a branch for it. There's Jolene's Tea House, lovely old building. And then Wildflower Bakery. If you were coming for dinner, I would have come down here at 7:30 and gotten baguettes. But Three Bears here brews its own beer, but they do these bison ribs. And I strongly recommend people to try them because it's a chance to try bison, which is really the traditional meat here. And I always say get bison ribs and a Caesar salad and just share them. They call it an appetizer, but it's certainly enough to fill me up. So I just did a nice little loop there, and then we'll just come down. Well, if I went straight ahead to the hill, then you go up the stairs, and that's where you would find your way to hike up Sacred Buffalo Guardian Mountain, or Tunnel Mountain. There it is up in front of me. Boy, there's a lot of steam coming out of the back of the, that's the kitchen up at the Rose and Crown pub. And I don't know why it's in such shape. But here, I'll tell you what I'll do for fun. I'll come up this way, and I'll just give you a view the other way up Banff Avenue. Now I'm going into the wind, so it's a little noisier. And I love seeing all the people on their skateboards. It's my only sport that I've given up on after I broke my ankle. Now, the Banff Brewing Company up to your left there, very Swiss-looking building. And of course, we had Swiss mountain guides came out here. These people, it says police parking, sir. Guy's trying to pull in. He thinks he's the only person on earth who's just found parking on Banff Avenue. That does kind of crack me up a little bit. So I'm just going to go over quickly to the Nancy Paw Bridge. And then we can say farewell. Oh, there's the post office. We don't have home delivery. Catherine Robb White building is our senior center in there.
She was a fabulous person, originally from New Hampshire, married Peter White, was an artist, and she was the one who really got the Banff Centre going, which is our cultural centre. And in fact, I need to look because we've had so many free concerts lately. I went to opera there last week, which was just fantastic. The fact that I can go in a town of 9,000 people to the same type of productions you'd have to go to the big cities for is another reason that we're quite a cultural institution. So over on the left is where I do my swimming in the summer. But look at this view down here just for a moment. It's just so perfect. It is just lovely. So, do you know, one of the people I was with yesterday said to me, I really get the feeling that you genuinely love it here, that it's, you don't take it for granted. And I think that's very true. So, it makes me very happy to be part of this place and this beauty. There's Stony Lookout Mountain. That's one I hiked a couple of days ago. It's an easy hike. It's about a 5 kilometer loop, but it's never busy. That's what's so nice about it. And at the top of it, you feel like you can reach out and touch the other mountains. Et ça fait plaisir. Et il va falloir que je fasse une tour en français bientôt. You might have seen that my website has been translated to French at no cost to me. Now, for years, I've been involved with the Francophone economic development here. So, which is, so nice to be part of as well. So, oh, Dan, look at you. Hey there. Do you know, so that, everyone, is my buddy Dan out in Parksville, which is effectively where my brother lives. And it was my brother's birthday. So, another happy birthday to my brother. It was his birthday on the 2nd. And I called him and he said, yeah, it was really smoky in the morning. I guess you have a fire really close by. There was a map showing us getting some blowing towards us, but we didn't see any today, which is good news. Really good news. You can see the sleeping buffalo behind me. But yeah, so we are, thanks, Nat. Yeah, my brother's doing really well. He's actually accepted a job out there rather than doing the contracting, but so that's good news. I just want to show you, I need to stop to switch the screen around, but actually I'll just go past it. So I'm by the Buffalo Luxton Museum here. Norman Luxton, who I keep calling David Luxton, makes me frustrated. I know other people don't remember, but it was Norman Luxton, who really had a huge amount of respect for First Nations people, which is good. But there's flying up there. That is the Treaty 7 flag up there. So, it's my pleasure. I'm glad you needed this. It's good. Well, it's going to be. I mean, I could try and do another tour in 2 hours, and there will be 10,000 people walking. No, 25,000 people walking down Banff Avenue. Now, everyone's welcome, as long as you don't feed animals and don't litter. And don't. The other thing is, there's this new thing where people are putting stickers on garbage bins. Don't. Leave nothing but photos. Leave nothing but footprints. Take nothing but photos. So, big hugs all around. Yes, and of course, our country is being continuously attacked by one to the south, but not by all the people. I meet so many wonderful people from there. So, it's important to. Sorry, I'm just looking down here because we have more mushrooms, like I was saying earlier, than I ever remember. But that one might have been dug up by an animal. I doubt a person has. So that's interesting they came up. Well, only him and 30% of the population, I suppose. Just give you one other little view here just for the sheer beauty of it. I've been watching this tree for years. I don't know when it's going to eventually fall, but the river's still running quite full. And it's because we've had all the rain. So, but there we go. Feel free, please, 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 to share this. I didn't see if anyone's made a contribution here, but it's much appreciated. But please share these around. We'll keep growing this site. And I'm just so busy, I haven't been able to do a lot of lives. But come the fall, so I'm going up to Yukon, Northwest Territories. Going to swim in the Arctic Ocean in September. And then I'll be up in Jasper and Edmonton. And then I'm off to Italy. And then to Ethiopia. Oh, yes, Ethiopia. And then Rome. And then Nepal. Then Hong Kong, Macau. So lots of travel. And then, of course, Peru. So lots of travel coming up in the fall. But this has just been wonderful to have summer at home. I've been guiding most days. And I love it. I'm still an international traveler, but it's been just so nice to be home. So peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone is well and healthy and happy. So keep in touch and spread the word and take care. And we will see you whenever we can get online, okay? But thanks for contributing and thanks for joining our subscriber group. Like, please participate in that one. You know, you don't need me to post stuff. Everyone can post things. It's a nice little community. So, oh, goodness me, Jolene, I didn't see that. I'm sorry, because I've been riding. It was Jolene's birthday not very long ago. So, Jean de Pays, c'est à ton tour de te laisser parler d'amour. Lots of love, everyone. I will see you as soon as possible.